Good evening. It's certainly good to see everybody this evening. I'll give you a few minutes to get signed on and let me know you're here. If you are here and you have a question you'd like for me to discuss, just type it out in the side chat. I'll be answering those questions as we go on. I ran a poll today on well, not today, for a couple hours in the community section of my page and just ask what you would like to talk about. And I think I gave options like gardening, barbecue, range report, vacation, or all the above. The last time I looked, it was all the above. I think about 80% said all the above. So we'll have it open to anything and everything. Of course, I never really stick to just one topic when we do these kind of chats anyways. I just field your comments, questions. So that's what we are going to do tonight is the exact same thing. If you've got a question for me, you've got a request, you've got something you want me to talk about, you've got whatever it is, you just want to let people know who you are and where you are, just leave it right there in the side chat and we'll start and we'll probably go for I don't know, at least 30 minutes, but probably not more than an hour. It's 7 o'clock my time. Nobody wants to hear me talk for a straight hour. So I know we'll be done by 8 at the latest and maybe sooner. I don't know. Just depends on where you guys want to take the conversation, who wants to chime in. First comment I see is Fitz Preacher, and we talk pretty regular every couple days. So it's good to have him with us. Uncle John, nice seeing you as well. Um, Hobo Hobbies. Mike, good to have you with us tonight. So this is going to be the format. It's just a Tuesday talk, whatever you guys want to kick around, whatever, you think you would like to discuss. I'm here. And well, Miss Beverly, good to see you. Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope all is well. Um, thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm glad you're with us. It's just going to be a open format chat, whatever you guys want to talk about. That'll be the format tonight. So basically, I've been way too busy to make any kind of real um videos. I've videoed a few things that I've done, but I just haven't had time to edit it. I have a grilled catfish tacos video that I probably videoed the whole thing over a month ago and I haven't uploaded it yet. I have a couple of range videos that I haven't edited or uploaded yet. I have a Mammoth Spring State Park video that I haven't edited or uploaded yet. Seems like there's something else. Oh, I've got a garden video update where Fitz Preacher came down and plowed my in-ground garden up, and then I covered all the things that I have growing in my raised beds. Just kind of gave an update, a general update on everything that I've done thus far. And I haven't edited or uploaded it. And so I made a list of to-dos today, and one of them was edit a video and get it uploaded. And guess what? It didn't happen either. So I was done with supper and I told my wife, I said, "We got anything going tonight?" And she's like, "No." I said, "I'm gonna I'm gonna do a live at 7. I'll eat dinner and get a couple things tied up around here, and then we'll just get online and have a kind of an impromptu live chat and see what everybody wants to talk about." First thing first, is your contact email on the about page still good to go? I want to email something to you. It should be Pastor Harold at att.net. It's PASTORHAROLD at att.net. Um, you can you can usually reach me through there. That's the way companies find me if they want me to review something. And really, I've got several things that need to be reviewed. I enjoy doing review videos. They don't give you money, but usually they'll let you keep whatever they send you, and it's always fun to get something for free and get to use it and try it out and see if it works, and then tell people what you think. And I have two of these actually. I can see it laying right here on my desk. That book. These are it's running away from me. Yes, this is the chef's temp. This is a meat thermometer or a cooking thermometer that you is completely rechargeable, and it gives instant readings. I've messed with it a little bit. I've charged it up, but I haven't done anything really that I needed to check. I've just kind of played with it in the kitchen a little bit, but they sent me two of these, and I've got one in an unopened box here that I will probably give away when I put the video up. But so far, it has worked great. And I just need to, I've got some chicken that I need to cook, or I don't have it, but I need to grill some chicken. And when I grill chicken, I grill enough for a few days. And it's always good to verify that you do have it fully cooked on the inside. And I do use a meat thermometer when I cook chicken. So I've got that other one charged and ready to go. And that's my plan, is to do a review of the chef temp thermometer, meat thermometer. All right. If you have a question, I think there's only 9 of you watching. If you have a question, a concern, a comment, a complaint, uh, get it in the side chat and I'll try to get it answered. Now's the time. Sometimes we'll get 25 or 30 people on here and then I can't keep up with what everybody's saying. And so now's the time. If you've got something you got a question. All right. Hey, A Porter, reviews are okay. We all buy stuff on occasion. That's right. Mike, I turn down a lot of reviews. I get a lot of people, or a lot of companies, and these are small, companies, Amazon companies, but it's just not something that suits, what I do. It's not something that's part of my regular, routine. But if it's something that I use, like a scope or a red dot for a firearm or something like that to cook with, that's usually right up my alley, and I'll gladly take one and try it out. Reload everything. We're doing well. I hope you are too. What's the difference between an offset smoker and a reverse offset? An offset smoker has a firebox down below the meat chamber or the smoke chamber, and the heat rises up, goes directly into the heat chamber and out the other end. An offset smoker will often, the smoke will go out on the same end that it enters in. It'll flow under the meat and then back over the meat. That's the reverse flow, going back in the direction and then up. And sometimes you'll have two separate chambers. You'll have a hot chamber on the bottom and a cooler chamber on the top, but that's usually what someone's referring to when they say a reverse offset. Something to kick around. Any updates or thoughts about the SBC debacle? Oh man. Yeah, it's not being in the Southern Baptist is a real blessing. But Wade and we do a podcast called the Patriot Pastors Podcast, and we plan to cover that next week after they elect a president. When am I going to fire up the dangerous smoker again? Probably before the Preachers of Grace conference, because I'll have to cook for about 120, 130 people, and that's when I need the big smoker. Thoughts on the 6 ARC? I absolutely love it. It's my favorite caliber. It's my favorite round. It gives me 243 performance with about 2/3 of the powder in a shorter action. I'm just waiting on a decent company to come out and make it in a bolt gun. Right now, Howa, maybe Savage, somebody like that makes a kind of a low end bolt arc. And as soon as Tika makes one, I'll do all I can to own it. Is this the First Baptist Bar and Grill? It could be. It could be. Uh, Different forum. I'll ask about religion. Different forum. Now, seriously, my thoughts on the Southern Baptist Convention is they're falling apart. It's probably too far gone to fix. Even if you turn it around and fix it, what do you got left? So I don't really see anything there worth fighting for, to answer your question, Southern Tulip. Uh, Preacher's day off. I need prayers. My left calf on my leg has been killing me for 3 weeks now. Well, I will pray for your leg, but you probably ought to see a doctor too if you haven't done that yet. Um, it's one thing to pray, it's another to put what we would say legs to our prayers. And in your instance, you really need your leg prayed for. But the Lord is a great healer, but He also gives us a means of healing. So I would definitely have a doctor look at it. 3 weeks is more than just a pulled muscle. I would venture to say. 11 Bravo Grunt. Hey, good to have you with us. Um, let's see. Anybody else? Prayers for healing and no more pain. Love your channel, preacher. Thank you for letting people know God is still blesses his people. He does. Thank you, Roger, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Of course, we agree, Tulip. We're pretty much on the same page as far as that kind of stuff goes. Um, any thoughts about growing peppers, okra, tomatoes, and potatoes together? Apparently, the internet suggests they affect each other. Nightshades, which are peppers and tomatoes, they I don't have any problem putting them close together as long as they've got plenty of water and plenty of fertilizer. As a matter of fact, I grew onions um, around some things, and it's growing onions around um, cucumbers worked well. The cucumbers did well, and the onions did well. Growing onions under tomatoes is supposed to go well, but I really think it depends, William, on what kind of plant. It's just I'm not sure, about okra. One thing I know about okra is it gets big. I wouldn't want to plant it with anything else around it because it will get tall. It will get real stocky, and by the end of summer, it's a long term. You plant it in spring, you'll still be cutting okra on it when frost hits. So that's more along the lines of what I think. What's going to come off first, and then I just try to keep the fertilizer and the water there. I'm doing carrots and cucumbers together, and so far that's seems to be okay for the carrots, but the cucumbers don't like it as much. So let's see here. They can affect each other though, just to be honest with you, William. Uh I plant maters and peppers together every year. The only concern I know of with peppers is if you put your hot peppers and your mild peppers together, you can end up with hot sweet peppers and sweet hot peppers. In other words, they can cross pollinate. So that's something to be concerned about. My uncle Joe used to swear he would plant his jalapenos next to his tomatoes and it made his tomatoes hot. But I would venture to say it was probably that he picked his peppers first and then handled his tomatoes. And it was the oil on his hands that made his pepper or his tomatoes hot. But he swore by it. He lived to be 93 or 5 or something like that. He was born in the late 1800s, and I wasn't going to argue with him as a kid. If he said it made his tomatoes hot, more power to him. Tim S., good to have you with us. So, anyways, if you've got questions, you've got comments, you've got complaints, anything, whatever it is, it's Talking Tuesday night or Tuesday night talking or something like that. It's a Tuesday and we're talking. So it was just a free evening for me. And I always like catching up with you guys. And since I haven't been posting a lot of videos lately, I don't get as much interaction with y'all. And I just, be quite honest with you, kind of missed you. Good evening, preacher. How are you doing this evening? I'm doing good, Russell. Thanks for stopping by. Everything's going well. I'm just busy, and busy is good. Dinner calling. Hobo, thanks for stopping by when you could. I don't blame you. I don't care what you call me, long as you call me for dinner. But I like, I just like getting together and visiting with the guys that watch the videos and catching up with one another. David, I have not been doing any fishing lately. What did I do the other day? We went, I'll tell you what we did. It was last Saturday. We went up 23. I remember you probably remember when you and I went up 23 highway and fished on the Big Mulberry one time. I think you and I even went up and fished at Shores Lake together one time. Well, my wife and I Saturday, we went up 23, went over the mountain to the other side of the mountains from the Big Mulberry River and went to the upper White River. And we fished about, I'm going to guess, a couple of different spots, but we went to several different places. We even went over to War Eagle Creek, and we were just looking for, it was kind of a scouting trip to see if there were any good places to fish on the White and the War Eagle. And I'm sure there is, but the public spots that we could get to or the spots that were in national forest just didn't pan out. If you got on the White River and you were in national forest, it was so small there it didn't hold fish. Or I mean, it would just hold small fish. If you got on the White River big enough to say catch a 10 or 12-inch bass, it was probably a swimming hole where everybody and their brother was laid out on towels and kids were playing, or it was private. So I tried to fish, I even took camera along, but I just never really found any spots. I'm talking up around St. Paul. Where else did we go? Over to Pettigrew, over to Witter, that little area up through there, David. And we just didn't, we never really found anything that we wanted to go back and try to fish again later. We did have a good burger at St. Paul at the Snack Shack. And so if you're ever in the metropolis known as St. Paul, stop at the Snack Shack and get you a hamburger. It's pretty good. Let's see here. Number one complaint, price of gas. Yeah, that's getting up there. I put onions out all over to repel pests. A lot depends on the soil condition. That's a good point. Uh, Mr. Porter, I've found that pests don't really mess with onions much either. My Walla Walla onions are growing like crazy, but they're not really making large bulbs yet. And I know it's supposed to go by daylight, but I really think our problem is heat. Um, it got unseasonably hot real quick. And I think it really caused a lot of my onions to bolt. And so some of them began to put on seed heads and it just really messed with them. We had a real early hot spell. Have you ever tried cucumbers in large pots or cowlick buckets? It's funny you should say that. I've got 3 or 4 buckets out there with cucumbers in it. I put 2 cucumbers in each one. They're growing like weeds. No complaints there. I put them right up the side of a cattle panel. And of course, I fertilized them twice with triple 13. And I added some, compost and stuff when I planted them. So I had good soil, but they were in mineral lick tubs, cow buckets, and they're working out good. Tread, do you or your family have problems with trespassers? Do y'all still have posted signs up? We do from time to time have trespassers. It's usually local guys, and they are just sneaking in. Um, Sometimes down on our land on the river, you'll have somebody just drive in that's just a dummy, doesn't know where they're going or what they're doing. But when it comes to hunters, people coming in hunting or fishing on us, it's local people that are sneaking in. And the law in Arkansas is that if it's fenced, it's your responsibility to know whose land you're on. In other words, you crossed a fence or a gate or a cattle guard to get here. You knew you entered private property. You weren't just walking through woods and ended up on somebody's place. So if it's fenced, you don't have to have it posted. Well, all of our land is under fence. So we don't put signs up. I put a few up at gates just so people know that they're not welcome, but it's the neighbors that usually come in on us. I thought you would remember that, David. It seems like if I remember right, I made a homemade inner tube out of a U-shaped 6 or 8 inch PVC pipe, and I just sewed a piece of cloth across it, and the cloth ripped, and I started falling through that that homemade inner tube uh, that I had. Yeah, you had a chance to try the Helgamites yet? I fished with them Saturday on the White River. I never got a bite, but I never got a bite on anything else. I was in a bad spot, but I did exactly what you told me. I got below some rapids and tossed them in there with those same lead heads. And I think we were just in an area that was really more of a swimming area and it just didn't hold a lot of fish. Or if it had fish, they get fished a lot and they just don't stay pretty shy. I got we were really dry. We'd been watering the garden pretty regular, and I got an inch of rain yesterday and another half inch of rain this morning. So we got an inch and a half of rain here. So the garden's doing good. Went to Blue Mountain Lake a few weeks ago. It was 23 foot above normal pool and caught around 30. Man, that's good, especially with high water like that. Were they up in the brush or did you catch them out in the main lake? Sometimes when it gets high, people go up in the woods after them. And then I know other people that just go out in the main lake and find schools and get after them out there. I haven't been on Blue Mountain Lake in probably 2 years or three. Of course, I don't have a boat. If I had a boat, I'd be there more often, but it's one of my favorite lakes to crappie fish at. Cypress Island. All right. Well, if you guys have a question, I keep saying it, leave it in the comments. I'll be glad to answer. If you have a comment, um, I do have a vacation coming up. I've moved my vacation around because we've had some issues come up, some schedule changes. So I do have a vacation coming up. I'm still undecided on where I'm going. I thought I had a couple months to plan this, and now it's turned out, I've just got 2 or 3 weeks. So I've got to come up with a vacation destination, and my wife says she does not want to go to the mountains. So no Rocky Mountain High this time around. More than likely, we'll head toward a beach somewhere. I hate going to the tourist beaches like in the Gulf, Florida. I hate going to crowded beaches, and I found some good ones. Last year we went to Charleston. Charleston, South Carolina has 3 beaches. We enjoyed 2 of those 3, Sullivan's Island and Isle of Palm. We went to Folly Beach, and it was a good beach too. It just wasn't the same as the other 2, but we're trying to decide if we want to go to a southern beach somewhere, um, North or South Carolina, somewhere in there. Beach on a lake. My wife's preferring saltwater, and being a preacher, I try to get at least 2 states away. Otherwise, they'll be calling you with some little problem and you have to come home. So I found it best if you're a pastor and you don't want to get called back to work to get so far away and say, "Hey, look, man, we're 12, 14 hours from home." I mean, if we left now, we couldn't do you any good. Yeah, and I found it best just to because if I went an hour from home, I would feel guilty if something happened and I was an hour away and didn't come back. So, in order to get a full week of vacation in, I usually have to get completely out of state. And if I'm going to get completely out of state, I'll go to a real beach. I would have figured you'd have had at least a John boat for duck hunting. I used to, William, and I got rid of it when I built my house 23 years ago. I sold my boat and bought my living room and bedroom furniture. And I think all I have out of the living room furniture are 2 end tables, the couches, the love seats, the recliners all worn out. I still have the same bed frame, dresser drawers, and nightstands, but new mattress. So yeah, if I'd still had that boat, I had a 16-foot deep wide John boat, and I've contemplated getting another one, but I really want to get my side by side paid off first. That's my only real debt, and I just don't like being in debt. TB Island in Georgia. I've heard of TB Island. I've heard it gets real crowded in the summer. Um, but yeah, I looked at it just outside of Savannah. That was one of our thoughts. Um, I don't know where we're gonna go. We'll end up somewhere. We both liked Charleston last year. That was probably one of our favorite vacations. Just because it was history, it was good seafood, the beaches were nice. We weren't crowded. It wasn't Pensacola. It wasn't Virginia Beach. It was they were nice beaches, and so probably end up there. I'm probably your only uncle listening. Who's your favorite uncle? You're also the one that took me fishing when I was a kid. You've always been my favorite uncle. That's funny. But anyways, so vacation wise, we're gonna go somewhere in the next few weeks, and I'm not really sure where, but I'm ready. And I've been, like I said, I've been extremely busy, and I really just don't have a desire to fish much, unless it's in the creeks, unless it's running water smallmouth. I really just getting out in a boat on a hot summer day is not appealing to me like it used to be. And wading around the banks of an old growed up pond in the summer, try not to get snake bit and catch a few fish just doesn't appeal to me either. So I, I've really been enjoying going to the range, and that's one of the things I've done each of the last 2 weeks. I've got up early, got some reloads, or even slipped off. One week I slipped off in the afternoon. The gun range is just about 10 minutes from my house, and I headed down there one day with a 22 and a 300 blackout with a bunch of test loads. Did real well. I bought a new little 22 pistol, one of those cheap revolvers, not a Heritage, but the other one like a Chippewa something. Anyways, it's got the 22 and the 22 Magnum cylinder. It's really kind of just a tackle box gun for fishing, but I enjoyed shooting it. I enjoyed shooting my 22 rifle. I've been working on it and kind of tweaking some things on that old high standard Sport King. And it's just been fun to go to the range and shoot. And I've gotten to where I'd rather go to the range and shoot than I would go fishing. And so the problem now is finding time to reload. And I get on the bench, I get just enough reloaded to go the next day, and I just spend so much of my time on the phone or on the computer. I just can't get any reloading done, and so that's kind of limited me to shooting 22s. And that's fun, but that can only take you so far. I have an article on lever actions I want to link. Huh. When's it? Is it from 1875, back when lever actions were new and were good? I've always said I don't have anything against lever actions as long as you're playing cowboys and Indians or something like that. But real world scenarios, give me a bolt action. I would prefer it. Tastes change as you get older. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I had really kind of quit shooting. I didn't do a lot of just recreational shooting. I made sure my rifles were sighted in. I hunted with them. When hunting season was over, I put them up. For a couple of years, I didn't do a lot of reloading. I didn't do a lot of shooting. I just was kind of burnt out. And a preacher friend of mine named Steve gave me a RCBS automatic powder dispenser. I don't know what that thing's called, load master, charge master, something like that. Anyways, it's an auto dispenser, and that has made reloading, I guess you'd say, fun again. There's no there's no sitting there tapping out powder. There's no waiting for the scales to adjust. You dump it in your brass, you seat your bullet, you get everything put up, you turn around, your powder's ready to go. It makes it so much faster. And I really, really enjoy um, reloading with that. And then being a member of the gun range, I never would have thought I liked a gun range, but I went over there the other day and I picked up probably half of a large coffee can or a full small coffee can of brass just left over, laying around, sitting on top of tables, laying all over the concrete floor. It was crazy. I picked up a lot of brass the other day. Jumping in on the chat for a minute from Orange Beach, Alabama. I'd love to hear about your turkey season and how much you love it. That made my day, Hadaway. That made my day. Yeah, I really love turkey season. I got that butterball out there in the freezer, and it's better anyways. You know, I saw a couple of turkeys this year, down on the river, and I don't normally see turkeys down there, but I did see a couple of hens one day, and that's the first turkeys I've seen over here in a long time. And man, our turkey numbers are in the toilet. I mean, it's awful. Everybody I know that's turkey hunting around here just ain't seeing very many birds. So I'm kind of in my burnout phase with hunting and fishing too. So many people everywhere. And thankfully I got a couple of ponds I can fish. The main thing for me is I want something that's different. I want something that's a challenge. And I've fished the same ponds. My wife and I have been married for 26 years, I guess. I'll be 27 this year. And so I've been fishing over here for near 30 years in all these ponds. And, it's just, uh, that's why I wanted to go over the mountain and fish in a new river. That's why I went to the upper stretches of the White River and War Eagle Creek, and I was just looking for something different. That's why I've been trout fishing a few times this year, just trying to find something to break me out of the funk. And I know it'll come back around. I know in probably 2 years I'll be just out chasing bass again like I used to. And but right now I'm just kind of in that funk. But the shooting has come back, and I've really, really, really enjoyed having a range. I've enjoyed having nice tables to shoot on, a roof over my head, fans, flushing toilets. I'm getting spoiled with that shooting range. It's it's really nice. And picking up brass when you get done, I bet I think I had 99 or 97, something like that. I was just under 100 rounds of 223 I picked up the other day, and about 40 or 50 pieces of 38 special. So I like picking up brass and processing it and cleaning it up and storing it away. So between the automatic powder dispenser and the gun range, I'm really enjoying shooting again. Turkey numbers down in Bama too. Hadaway, tell me, do you think it's hogs that are destroying nest or just overall predators around here? We've got a bad hog problem. Not in my immediate area, but coons are bad, and nobody traps anymore. Nobody coon hunts anymore. So I was just wondering what a turkey guy thought was contributing to the numbers being so low. Because I know Alabama has always had more turkeys than Arkansas has, but man, our turkey numbers are just pitiful. 277 Wolverine is a 277 blackout. Wow. I didn't know that. I had to get into bay fishing in Freeport, Florida to keep me interested in fishing. Caught some trophy speckled trout this year. That's good. If I live closer to the coast, I'd do that too. But I've seen you fish ponds. You're just like me. You'll flip out there with a worm and catch a dozen in 15 minutes, and is just kind of loses its interest. When I was a kid, I used to see how many perch I could catch. We'd call it perch jerking. We'd just go, and I mean, we'd have days we'd catch 150, 200 perch, but then after a while, you're like, they're all the same. It's just one right after another, and you just kind of get bored with it. What cartridge would you like to play with next for deer? Is it that 243 or Ot 6 only? I still I'm trying to think. I shot a deer with my arc last year, and I shot a deer with my 243 last year. And the arc did a exceptional job. Um I still love my 243. I still have all the confidence in the world with it, but I really love the 6 arc. And I'm here to tell you, if I could find a bolt action 6 arc, that would be my deer rifle. And my uncle Grady has couple of 6 arcs as well, and we've talked about this. And the benefit of the 6 arc is when you're shooting, the recoil is so light that you can see your bullet impact. The recoil doesn't bring your scope off target. This means a lot when you're shooting long distance, like at a coyote running off. with the 243, you would shoot, and sometimes your scope rise would get the coyote out of the scope, and you just about the time the bullet would hit. So you wouldn't know if you were shooting in front of him or behind him or over him or under him. And so for adjusting like that, the 6 arc is great because the animals never come out of the scope. You see impact, and you know right then if you need a follow up or not. And so that is a great benefit. And the what is it, PRCS, or is that Pro Rodeo Cowboy Association? I don't know. It's some of these shooters that are in tournaments and shooting competitions. They prefer the arc because of the low recoil and the near 243 ballistics. And I love the arc, but shooting down in the bottoms like I have been the last few years, I would like to have something bigger, something that would carry a little more thump when it hit than a 243. So I have, as much as I've made fun of the Ot 6, I've contemplated going back. David, I do reload some pistol ammo, mainly 240, mainly 38 special and 357. But I have in the past reloaded 9, and I've reloaded 40 for other people, but I don't have 40 caliber dies. So, but 357, 38, yeah, I've loaded quite a bit and still do. And that's primarily all I shoot anymore in pistol because I got tired of picking up my brass. So I prefer to shoot revolvers. Overall, predators, in my opinion, overhunting in Bama too, 5 per season till this year. They finally started cutting back. Yeah, I don't even know what the turkey limit is here. I'd guess it's 1, maybe another one if you hunted in the fall. But yeah, it's not hunting pressure here. They're just less turkeys every year. It's got to be predators. It just there's so many coons and people feeding corn now where they didn't used to feed corn. You know, coons, everybody I know, if they're not trapping coons on their corn feeder, they're feeding a dozen or more coons. So if we're getting coons nice and healthy through the winter, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not raiding turkey nest all spring, and having great, I don't know what coons have, litters of pups or kits, or I don't know. Yeah. Traded our turkeys for rattlesnakes. I would say so. Yeah, I'd rather have turkeys than nope ropes. That's true. Well, we made it past the 7:30 mark. Any other questions, comments, concerns, complaints, conundrums? Running out of C words there. Killed approximately 25 coyotes, 20 pigs, and 1 deer this year with my 6mm arc, and shot out to 1,000 yards. My new favorite round. There you go. There's the guy that has tested it far more than I have. I think I only killed 1 coyote and 1 deer with mine. And I mainly shot light bullets in it. After I killed the deer and the coyote, I went to the range and did a bunch of, what was I shooting? I shot 55 grain, 243 bullets. I shot 62 grain, 6mm bullets. I shot a lot of light stuff with great success. So, um, I love it, man. I shoot 105s out of it. I shoot 108s out of it. And then to be able to drop down and shoot a 55 grain or a 62 grain bullet, that kind of variety and ammo. And I mean, a full load in that thing's 31 grains. It's not like you're burning up tons of powder to get that. So it's my go-to. I just want it in a bolt. That's all I'm waiting on. Predators are bad. Hawks too. I've had about 25 wood ducklings in my upper pond. And between hawks, bass, and snakes, there are 4 left. Wow. That is crazy. But I mean, we got here's the problem, guys, and this is my opinion. You can take it for what it's worth. This and $1 will get you a senior coffee at McDonald's. If fur prices even came back to their 1970 numbers, people would go out and trap animals for the fur, but fur's not back because um, environmentalists doesn't do not want fur to be sold for clothing or commercial use. So they're actually destroying the environment by allowing the predators to overmultiply by killing the fur market. But if the fur market ever came back, guys, I wouldn't I wouldn't kill a fox for $3, and that's about what a fox hide brings in Arkansas. He's just too pretty of an animal to kill him and skin him and take him drive somewhere and get $3 out of him. Coons were bringing at one time a dollar 75 cents. That's not worth the effort to skin and freeze and transport. Um, but if I could get $20 for a coon, $30 for a jumbo, even today, and that's what they got back in the late 70s, early 80s. I would skin a coon for $25. As a matter of fact, I'd get up every morning and run a trap line for $25 coons. I'd do it for $10 coons. If fox were bringing $50 like they did in 78 when my dad trapped, I would trap fox for $78. And people wouldn't be just killing them because they're getting into their chickens and throwing them away. But that kind of predator pressure is what we need because we got coyotes running rampant here. And a lot of people are hunting coyotes, but nobody's hunting coons. Nobody's killing possums. Um, Possums used to bring $2 for a large in the 70s. Now I don't even know if they would take them. But if we could get back to $100 bobcats and $30 coons and $50 fox, and we would see an increase in turkeys because we'd see a decrease in predators. And I really think that's the problem. And I really think the people to blame for it are the environmentalists that are hurting the fur market. That's what I believe. If fur came back in vogue, fur prices would go up and turkey numbers would go up, fawn numbers would go up. Everything that's a prey animal would go up. What do you think about the 7 mag? I like it. I don't own one, David, but I'd like to have one. I was even thinking about that the other day. I think I was listening to Ron Spomer, um, his Ron Spomer Outdoors podcast. He was talking about the 7 mag, and I like a 7 mag. I think it's a great caliber. Um, just the deer down on the river and down in the bottoms. I mean, 243, I don't have any trouble killing them, but I don't like shooting the 243 out to 300 and 400 yards. Just there's so many variables in play. Wind, it's wide open down on the river. A lot of times I'm not real comfortable for how much lead to put on the wind. And I don't want to wound a trophy buck and have it run off and die. And you wait 5 years to shoot at it and then wound it and not get it. It's just kind of hard to stomach. So I just don't like taking those longer shots. But if I had something bigger with a little more ump in it, if the shot was maybe I made a mistake, and I think that would kind of help me compensate. I know you would agree, Lance, because we're cut from the same cloth. I agree, preacher. Used to coyote hunt when they would sell for 75 bucks unskinned. Man, I would be all over that, Beavis. I mean, all over that. We're going to be eating possum before long, bro. Bro, man. I hope we eat all the coons first before we start resorting to possum, because I'm here to tell you, possum is the greasiest. It's greasier than alligator tail. I mean, it is the greasiest animal you will ever eat. Oh, I hope there's two things. I hope I don't ever get so hungry I have to eat again. I ate a groundhog just to see what they tasted like, and I ate a possum just to see what they tasted like. And those are two things I hope I don't ever have to eat again out of necessity. And I for sure ain't going to eat them out of curiosity. Man, groundhog was not greasy, but man, it has a strong, strong, gamey, just, oh man, I don't know what you would do to fix a groundhog to make it edible. It was just very, very, very gamey. And I like game meat. So couldn't do that again. Hey, Jamie, thanks for stopping by. What price do you think gasoline will end up at on average? I don't know, man. I really have no idea. Right now in my area, it's going for anything between 239 and 259, depending on where you are. You know, if you're on the interstate, it's like 259. If you're, you know where to get cheap gas, I think you can still get it for in the 230s. I don't really know where it's going to end up, just to be honest with you. But I wouldn't be surprised, see it hitting $5 here. I mean, school's out for the summer, and I I really believe this is all politically driven. I believe it's trying to push us to get a to get electric cars and get electric uh, lawnmowers and weed eaters and all that. And um, so and you have to keep in mind too, gas. A lot of gas prices are directly related to tax. You know, you can cross state lines and get it sometimes, depending on where you live, be 10, 15 cents cheaper. And that's just the difference in how each state taxes their gasoline, which is another thing I think is crazy. They can hide these taxes in gas and people don't realize, they're not paying 9% or 11% like they are with sales tax. Gasoline has its own tax. And, so there's a whole lot of hidden government fees there, and, I don't know, I just don't get me started on it. What are we talking about? Mountain Lion milk, male breastfeeding? If anybody's in a position to be a male breastfeeder, Tin Man, it would be you. I saw you with no shirt on holding that baby, but I didn't ask questions or insinuate nothing. Um, 475, wow, 419, Augusta, Georgia, 455. 479. Wow. Did you mean 449 instead of 230? It was 449 when I got gas um Sunday morning in Alma. Yeah, not 230. No, I'm used to the good old days. 449, not 249. I got that now. I don't even look at the dollar sign anymore. It hurts too much, Grady. I just look at that the numbers on the other side of the decimal. Cook a groundhog on a cedar plank, take it out and throw the groundhog away and eat the cedar plank. That is about the truth. Not far off if it ain't. I got lucky and filled up for 418 yesterday. Yeah, I haven't seen anything that low around here lately. But I mean, you never know. Here's the thing: they're going to run it way up, and then they're not going to drop it back to where it was. I mean, you have to keep in mind before Biden got in office, we were paying a buck 68 for gas, and um, and it's a publicly traded commodity. So the stock market and what it's trading for, and what speculators are bidding on, that's running the price up. There's a whole lot of factors in gasoline that ain't supply and demand, even though that's what they're trying to claim. And here's the real solution. We've got oil here. We can drill it here. Matter of fact, we were pursuing that. We were building a pipeline and pursuing oil independence. And then some certain unnamed politician, Joe Biden, shut all that down. And now here we are. And so this is more political than it is anything to do with the Ukraine. Just under 6 per gallon in US money. Wow. Wow. Look at your local Home Depot at all the electronic lawn equipment. Yeah, I know. And that don't work like gas powered stuff either. Um, you can say what you want. I've used electric weed eater. It's fine if you got a manicured yard in the city, but if you're like me and I only use a weed eater about every 3 years, where I can't get a mower and I'm out there trying to hit stuff that's borderline sapling, that electric stuff ain't cutting it. So I don't care. We've got oil. We just need a change of people in office, and everything else will take care of itself. And we can't do any of that until we vote in November. We might see a little relief then. And I'm not saying the Republicans have all the answers. I'm saying it's a fundamental difference on what we're going to do with energy. And it's very clear that the Democrats want clean, green energy, and they get to define that. And so they define it as electric, which is most of it made by burning oil and coal, and hydraulic is only a fraction of that. They also define it as wind energy, which destroys birds, destroys our a lot more than just catching air out of nothing. So it's a political game. Don't forget the kickbacks from domestic oil. That's the issue. That's true. Casey's had it in Van Buren for 414. Well, there you go. 414 would be the cheapest in my area. But what Van Buren has going for it is it's on the border of Oklahoma, and they get what's called a border city tax exemption. So they get about probably 10 to 12 cents in uh, tax rebate off their gas to be able to compete with Oklahoma. So once you get outside of, I want to say it's 10 miles maybe. Once you get within 10 miles of Oklahoma, you go back to full Arkansas tax uh, regulations on gas. What's a pound of 90% hamburger? I have no idea. I haven't bought any in a long time, Beavis. I haven't. A buddy of mine has a meat processing facility, and he ran a special on 85.15 here not too long ago. I want to say it was 350 a pound for 85.15, and I went up there and bought about 20 pounds. And between that and deer meat, I haven't really bought any in a long time. They sell gas in liters, not gallons. Yeah, I know, but they're idiots too. Well, I'm sorry if any of you Canadians are listening. I've been to Canada. I couldn't figure out how fast I was going. I kept looking at the wrong I kept looking at the miles per hour and not the kilometers per hour. It's a wonder I didn't get thrown in jail up there. I saw a blade attachment for a weed eating. Yeah, and they work good. Matter of fact, you can even attach a saw blade to them. A skill saw blade works pretty good as well. But if you just get a straight shaft steel, it'll do anything you want it to do, and you don't have to charge it. If you want to keep going, you just put more gas in it. That's the thing. When your mower runs out, you've got to put it on the charger, and you got to wait 6 to 8 hours before it's ready to go again. Even if you got a quick charge, I mean, I want to go and get it done. I've seen these electric powered chainsaws, and these guys are, I have one. Somebody sent me one to review. I've got a little mini battery powered saw. I've even seen the bigger ones, but these guys are cutting limbs, not logs. There's a difference between a limb and a log, and they're cutting them where they're laying, you know, vertical or horizontal. They're horizontal. They're sitting here taking their time. If I'm going to get down on my hands and knees and I've got a saw and I want to get close to the ground and I'm dropping a tree, I want to get through that thing and know if I need to reach in there and just clip a little bit or cut a little more on one side, I can do that quickly and not have to sit and wait. I really think if you're going to try to go out and cut timber with the current electric chainsaws they have, you're asking yourself to get hurt. I firmly believe that. Firmly believe that. Bought a tube of ground beef, 10 pounds for 38 bucks. That's 380. That's a pretty good price, and you're buying it 10 pounds at a time. Y'all want to do something other than gripe about the country we live in? They are actually debating whether he should go back to imperial measurement now, just when most of us got used to metric. Overpaid idiots up there. Well, you guys were supposed to stay with us, Mike, and y'all vacated. We were going to stick our guns out, and you guys did that. Here's what gets me: everybody else is metric, but then when the UFC fights overseas, they weigh them in stones. 16.5 stone. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. I thought we were measuring in grams and kilograms. I'm I'm telling you, I'm ready to go back to an inch as the digit of your first finger. We're gonna have a a cubit being from your middle finger to your elbow, and a foot being the length of your foot. If we get back to that, everything will be fine. I'll just get a guy with big feet to mark off my property line. Gas powered is the way to go. Yeah, it's not there yet. I'm not saying that with science and technology, they can't come up with something in the future, but right now, there ain't no logging company out there running electric nothing, and for good reason. And I wouldn't either. Um, JH is uploading the video. Well, that's good, Jamie. I'd like to see one from you. Guys, we're closing in on 55 minutes. So if you got anything you want me to discuss before we get off here, I'd say you need to get it up there pretty quick because I said we'd shut this down at 8 o'clock. There's 21 of us watching, 12 of you have liked it, and it looks like a pretty good crew in the side chat, and I'm caught up. So, got anything you want to say, complain about, gripe about? Probably ought to get it in there because I will be wrapping it up at 5 o'clock. Smoked catfish, I love it. It's good. I grilled some and made tacos out of it. It was good. I'll try to get that video done up. I don't know when I'm going to get some videos done. I might try to stay up tonight and get some videos edited and uploaded. But I need to. Like I said, I think I've got 4 or 5 uh, on SD cards and sitting on the computer. I just need to have the files gone through and cleaned up and put together. See, I hadn't been on YouTube all day. Gary, it's good to talk to you. Good to see you. I have a Henry 357, a suppressor. May advise subsonic loads. I have lots of different powders. Man, I've never shot anything subsonic in a 357. I would say you probably be. I have some 212 grain bullets, and that is a whole lot easier to get subsonic than a 158. So you might want to look at really going up in your bullet size, and and then you won't have to be as concerned about powder. Georgia boy, you need to do some catfishing soon. Everybody needs to. They're fixing to go on the beds here, so I would imagine some of them are already on it. My buddy was telling me to get my long sleeve shirt out and gloves. They were ready to go noodling. I said, well, I may come video y'all doing it, but I ain't doing it. Probably be somewhere in the Carolinas. If I end up going out there for vacation, Tread, I'd like to do some more Carolina barbecue. I've eaten a lot of Carolina barbecue. I just never videoed it back in the day. Uh, where the future of the SBC? We talked about that a little bit earlier. I think it's in the toilet. I think the liberals have control of it. I think even if the conservatives take over in Anaheim, I don't think they can maintain it because it's too far gone. And I think if they did take it over and tried to clean it up and maintain it, everybody would leave. It's a post SBC world as far as we knew it. That's my opinion, Kyle. Black and catfish is great. I'll agree with that. Enjoyed the chat. Thanks, Beavis. Thanks, Hobos. Thanks, Reload Everything. What do you call a cow that's just given birth? Decaffeinated. There you go. You see my family. You see what I grew up in. You know why I'm the way I am. Good to see you too, Miss Tulip. I'm glad you stopped by. We need to get together. One of these days when I head out towards Oklahoma, I'm going to pull in there and get you and Mike, and we'll all go out and eat dinner somewhere. South Carolina. I'll let you know, Chris, if we end up there. It's between there and North Carolina. That's kind of the 2 places it's going. We went to Charleston last year. We've thought about going back, but we'd really like to see something different. So we've been to Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. So I don't know, but I'm going to get out of town because I really need some time off. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for watching videos. Thanks for commenting. It's always good to talk and chat with you guys. I say this all the time. It's one thing just to carry a camera around and video what you're doing and share it with others. It's the interaction with you guys, the friends I've made around the country. It's uh, it's like stopping in South Carolina and eating dinner with people that I've only met on YouTube, or going to Utah and meeting somebody I only knew through YouTube, or Georgia boy and I fishing 2 or 3 times now, and we met on YouTube. It's the relationships that make this fun. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next video.